Hello and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tina Esparza, and I am the event coordinator with Cascades Healthcare, Skilled Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. Welcome to Talking with Tina. I am here today with Alyssa Kuhn. Hi, Alyssa. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you for being here with me today. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day.
Absolutely.
So Alyssa is a doctor in physical therapy, and we met last week at the Murray Chamber Luncheon. And she's the owner, the founder, developer, the queen of Keep the Adventure Alive, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Keep the Adventure Alive. You talked to me and told me that is. So I'm gonna read it here because what you said was amazing. Is helping people with arthritis turn frustration into hope and confidence.
Yes.
So talk to me about what's the biggest myth or misunderstanding of arthritis?
So a lot of times when people have arthritis, primarily in knees, hips, low back, a lot of times after they get the diagnosis, then they think that they have to give up all exercise because they have to protect their joints because it's bone on bone, that sort of thing. When actually exercise is one of the best things you can do, and cartilage actually loves exercise. So exercise can help get rid of the inflammation, get rid of the swelling, and actually give you more anti-inflammatory cells. Because the more we sit, the more inflammation that we collect. But exercise is one of the biggest things, or one of the first things to go, because people think that it's going to further damage their joint and they don't know which exercises are going to be best for them. But when you give up exercise, you also start adding in all of these risk factors for chronic disease, obesity, weight gain, dementia, all of these things. So one of the biggest myths is that exercise is going to harm your joint, when in reality, it's one of the best things you can do, but you have to make sure it's the right exercise.
No, that totally makes sense, because I sit here and I think, okay, once I've gone hiking, because we do hiking once a week with a group
Yeah.
of ladies, and when I come home the next day, I'm just hating it, and I'm thinking, oh, if I get up, I'm just. But when you get moving, it
But
makes sense.
you feel better. Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
You're right.
Absolutely.
What is one of the most beneficial things people can do?
So it's just finding the right exercise program for you. And one of the key things that you can do is have strong hips. A lot of times we like walk for exercise, or we run, or we do kind of one single thing, whatever you like doing. Say if hiking was the only thing that you were doing for exercise, we don't get a lot of variety. Now hiking is obviously more variety than just like walking on in the neighborhood or something like that. But we lose a lot of that variety, and our hips move forward, sideways, and backwards, but we're mainly only working the forward motion. And so many times I feel like with hip pain, knee pain, and low back pain, hips are the culprit. So just because your knee hurts doesn't necessarily mean it's the actual knee, but a lot of times it's hips. So if we can really get our hips strong, both that sideways and backwards motion, that can make a huge difference. And it's so simple, just adding a few exercises in. But the biggest thing is just finding the right exercise program for you. But strong hips is a very, very good place to start.
I wouldn't have even thought that. I would just blame it right on the knee and be like, "You're just
Exactly.
like,
Then
it's
you
all
need a
your
knee.
fault. I'm hurting."
Exactly. Then you get a knee x-ray, and then they're like, oh, you have arthritis, and then you stop exercising. And so
Yeah.
strong hips are the key.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess this is probably the next question was, how does physical therapy best help arthritis?
So my primary mission is to help people find the right exercise program, but also give you resources for the long term. This is not something that you do, you exercise for 4 weeks and you never have to exercise again.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the long term. So helping people find the right exercises to relieve pain, joint stiffness is a huge one, and figure out how to manage all of these symptoms to avoid surgery, because that's the ultimate goal for a lot of people, is to avoid surgery, avoid complications. And so I want to package all of these resources because you can manage this conservatively. And a lot of times people don't even just believe that surgery is the only option. That's, eventually I'm just going to need surgery. But a lot of times people don't even end up needing surgery. If you can get this early and manage it, then you can definitely avoid surgery. But a lot of times in our reactive healthcare system, we wait until it gets very severe or you can't even walk. And then it's like, oh, I should probably go get help. But then that help sometimes is too late. Yeah. So definitely physical therapy in my realm, especially specializing in arthritis, can really help the early to middle stages of management so you can avoid surgery, but we have to take action. So don't let it wait until it gets so severe that you can't even walk. And then, then again, like I said, it might be too late. So I want to give you the resources, the exercises, the education, all of it. And I come to your house.
This is one of our questions, but what are the early signs?
So it's when you wake up in the morning and you have joint stiffness, especially in like your knees primarily, but your hips and things, and you feel like they feel like cement blocks. But once you get moving, you notice that the pain does subside. Sometimes you might have some swelling or some warmth in the joints themselves. But again, once you get moving, the pain typically tends to subside. And a lot of times it's just very stable pain. It's not necessarily getting super severe right away. I mean, it's kind of a gradual increase in pain, but movement tends to relax it at certain points. Sometimes if you have joint stiffness or pain after a lot of activity, that could be a sign of arthritis as well. But again, it's not one of those things that if you start feeling those things, you have to rush out and get an x-ray, because I can definitely go through some of these common symptoms and I can save you a ton of money between seeing your doctor, getting an x-ray, hearing your joint is deteriorating, and then your mind goes all places. And so if you have just some of these symptoms and you see like a physical therapist first, you can save tons and tons of money on those sorts of things. So just kind of joint pain, joint stiffness that kind of gradually comes on without like an injury is one of the most common ones.
Okay, so last question. Can any age group experience this, or is it only for seniors?
I think the common age where it kind of starts is 40 to 50. Sometimes it does come a little bit later. A lot of it depends on genetics. If arthritis runs in your family, you might notice that it comes more earlier. But most of the time it's that 40, 50, 60 age group. And then if we don't do anything, it obviously gets more severe. But usually the onset, I would say, is about middle age, 40 to about 60.
Okay. So I threw some trick questions in there for you.
So that's fine.
Answering those. So Alyssa, talk to us about how people can get in touch with you. If they have more questions or if they want to talk to you about what you offer, your pricing and such, talk to us. Tell me where we can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so just go to www.keeptheadventurealive.com and you can set up a free call with me. I do free calls about 15 minutes just so I can learn about you and see how we can help you. I also have tons of free resources, videos, information. So if you just go to www.keeptheadventurealive.com/free stuff, then that's where you can kind of see all my videos and things on YouTube and Instagram and all sorts of things. So I would recommend going keeptheadventurealive.com/free stuff.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it so much. Thank you for spending your day with me and answering my trick questions even. Okay. I really appreciate it because this is great information and it was such a pleasure to meet you. I will definitely post all of your information down in the notes so that people know how to get in touch with you.
Perfect.
And that wraps it up for talking with Tina today. I just want to thank everybody for being here and visiting with both Alyssa and I. So for everybody, thank you so much for being here and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Alyssa.
See ya.